It's actually coming together. It's starting to get all buzzed. How goes that? Our first hot day, and then we can use this.
Woo!
It's the best. It was already getting pretty hot in there, so it's nice. A lot of it's going to be, obviously outside is going to be great, but it also means we're shading all the light coming into Nigel. So thankfully that means less baking in the sun. We've already noticed a massive difference even now, because obviously we didn't insulate or sound deaden the ceiling for extra head clearance, but we knew that because we had this on there, that's already made a massive difference with how much less sunlight is hitting the tin. So it's not heating up from the top anymore, but now with the windows, the sun's coming in, at least we thought we'll whack this out. You beauty.
It's time to put the countertop on the fridge.
I'm so nervous.
Very nerve-wracking. Oh
boy.
Oh boy. So using Gorilla Glue,
Yeah.
epoxy, chemicals. Heavy
The only
duty.
thing that'll stick apparently. Okay.
Move the cap in the middle. Move the cap.
Imagine that.
It just gets stuck in there and rattle.
Okay, I can shimmy it a little once it's on. But I just know I need this edge parallel, a little overhang.
How long do you have to stay there for?
It says it sets in like 5 minutes. I'm making a mess. Alright, the glue should be set. Now this was overcoming an obstacle, but I think it's a blessing in disguise. Basically I've had to cut these slits in there because it's so deep, so I didn't want to do it like the handles that we have where it's like all the way down. I've seen a lot of people do that. I just don't really like how much of the cabinet's removed and you just see a huge void for something that's really subtle. So I just wanted to do the bare minimum slits for each of them. They ended up being a really clean line, as they should. It's the same bit of timber, but they glued really nicely. So all I do is unlatch and lift up. That's legit.
Woo!
It works.
I can't believe that's our fridge.
That's legit. Look at that.
Wow.
That's so cool.
And for those who are concerned that our fridge is in a box, basically, there's heaps of ventilation.
Yeah, so the compressor is in this front bit here. Depending on how it performs, I'm still open to the idea of drilling ventilation holes in the front, but we've given it a pretty decent buffer at this end where the plug is. And then I'm removing another plank underneath, but the breathing vents also go underneath it. So I'm actually leaving it's just going to go basically completely free into my closet below. And then also because of this whole saga with the fridge and the lid openings and hitting things, I ended up needing to raise it. So now it's also getting raised up probably close to like 15 mil on just 2 strips of timber. So that way all underneath it's getting raised. And then of course it's surrounded by car builders as well, which is a pretty decent heat insulator. So all in all, it should be pretty good ventilation, but you know, we may be open to also the idea of drilling some holes for more ventilation, most likely on this side because it's hidden, but maybe in the front as well. Originally we were going to do long thin slits, which I'm sure you've seen done before, but the cleaner the better for us, and yeah, we reckon it should be pretty good.
Currently 5:24. We have 2.5 hours left until the workshop closes, and today's supposed to be our last day. and we have so much more to do. I would think we were both very optimistic in everything, but
well, we haven't even told you why we've been rushing so much either.
yeah, so let me get in here. The reason that we have been rushing this build is because way before we even had Nigel and planned this,
yeah, like at the start of the year,
yeah, we had planned to surprise Glenn's dad, fly to Sydney from Melbourne, surprise him for his 70th birthday.
Because the rough plan was that we were going to be going to Tasmania around like December, and Dad's birthday's at the end of November, so we thought it would somewhat work. We had no idea what we were doing, but we thought that was the rough plan that we had in mind, so we committed to that.
Yeah, so we had flights booked from Melbourne to Sydney because we thought we'd be in Melbourne around this time, which normally we would have, and then all this happened.
But then we thought we could do it for sure, because like the Vance build was done, I think, in 5 weeks. But I think this weather's cooked us. It's just slowed us down so much, and then also the fact that we were starting from having to like prep the inside structurally and get it licensed and so many more like little dilly-dally things that it's just, yeah, we're so bummed.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, I think we've just decided that
We
can't make it, which is really sad.
Yes. And then it's also like, well, what's the point? Like, we just spent the last 2 weeks working like stupid hours. Oh, it's been like, but then it's like, well, now it's the point, we're not even going, so we could have just chilled. but yeah, so bummed. But we just can't. Rushing it would just ruin, like, this is our home, so pretty bummed.
Yeah, it really sucks. But I guess now we just keep moving on.
Keep going. We'll literally need like a couple extra days, but our first plan in 3 years. And we've missed it.
This is why we don't make plans. Because
life's weird when you live on the road.
So many things change and plans always change. I think that's the biggest thing we learned from this trip, but we thought for sure that we could make it. And, yeah. It's just, I feel really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, we just get this. This is supposed to be an exciting time too.
Yeah, I think it has like the time crunch has really put it like.
Well, it's ruined the fun of the build as well.
Yeah, it's like we can't really enjoy the process because we're just trying to get it done, and I think that like Glenn said, this is our home now, and we want to make sure that things are done right. But
we just keep going forward, and sadly we can't go, which is a bummer. But it's all going well. It's just slower than expected, so it's looking really, really good. That glue's set. We'll do the one next to it, and hopefully it works okay. It's not exactly the finish we wanted, with obviously there's a slight raised lip, but one massive thing we needed to be aware of was for these to properly be able to clip in so that it actually seals the fridge. Otherwise it's really energy inefficient if it doesn't have that proper clip. And then because everything was already cut and measured to size, unless I dropped the height of this bench by like 5 mil, it would have always hit the top of here and not been able to close properly. So that's why I put the little raised bits on there to just raise it up a bit. It's not perfectly flush, but functionally it's going to work really, really well. And considering that's the biggest hiccup we've had, yeah, it's been alright. I mean, yeah. Alright, we're in the very final stages. It's been a massive push to the finish. We opted against locking slides for the kitchenette just because it's more the aesthetics, I guess, they're not the knobby things. After deciding that and going through this, I think the locking slides are almost always a better bet in terms of once you install them, you've got locking slides. But obviously we had to come up with a plan to keep everything locked in and everything locked out. And then because we chose not to have the locking slides, obviously we don't want it to be some ugly modification either, so we're wanting to make it as subtle as possible.
That was a massive headache. Just
It was,
figuring it out.
I thought it would, there are a lot of options out there, but making it as like somewhat easy to use, solid, and also not then also being ugly, otherwise it defeats the point of not getting the sliding drawers anyway. So in retrospect, probably go locking drawers. We used it for the first 2 kitchenettes we made, and it was quite easy.
I'm not in love with the look of the latches. I think, that's why we didn't do this, but...
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm still stoked what we've come up with. So we've just finished that. I had to pull the kitchenette apart again, which was super fun. But what we've got here, well, I can't even show you. We haven't even... It's been crazy. We haven't really been able to film a whole lot. We've been in the final push. But we have this lovely little levitating thing here. Table that we can put storage in, but then also have our stuff up top. That was a massive thing we hated. I personally hated about our previous kitchenettes was if ever you were like prepping something on a bench and then you forgot something and needed to get within it, you then had to move it all somewhere else to be able to lift it up and have a look at it.
And when you're cooking, it was really annoying.
Oh my god, it sucked. You'd forget one thing. You need to get like a spice or something, and then you're like, great, I got to move all my chopped things somewhere, and you're not in a kitchen. You got no. That's literally your only counter space. So
but like inside, we have countertops that we're gonna have to move stuff off of to get it. Like you can't have everything be this way.
No, because you can fit the most amount of stuff top down in storage wise, not front opening, which is why we've gone top down for almost everything, because you can fit so much more. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but then when it comes to food and cooking, we wanted it to be a very seamless process.
Yeah, big time. Lots of counter space and usable counter space, even if we do need to get into the storage underneath. So that's besides the point. So we've got obviously the kitchenette within a kitchenette. First one is this latch here. So we're going to take this off. It's just a sticker to protect the stainless. But all it is a little switch. Boop. And then it can go within itself. And then when you pull it out, you just flip it back up, close it, rock solid. And then that way, that should be fine. It's centrally based. And then on this side, I just did a drill through both kitchenettes, and then I just used some scrap metal to make this nice little rod that'll then go, I can't see, straight through, and then that holds it out. And then when I need to put it back, well, I need to take it out, and I can just live up here. So I don't need to worry about anything being, because that was one thing I didn't want to have to like have all these random bits and bobs that I had to construct when I should have just got locking drawers. At least this way, it's a real simple process to pull it out, lock it in place, and then when it's time to pack it away, all we need to do is drop this down, pull that out, like that in there. This then slides within itself, and then open this up, close that, and this goes within itself again.
Woohoo! So our water system gets fed through a water pump down in there. And we got this nifty. It's actually
a bidet.
A bidet.
But
so this is what we got. And we just like it because it's smaller, and anything that comes with like camping stuff just looks like a hose.
It is a hose.
Well,
normally it's just a garden hose.
Yeah, a garden hose, and we're not about that. We want to make it look good.
But this is great. It's the perfect length, perfect size, and it still looks nice when it's out. Yeah, because we had such a luxe big sink in our old build, and we literally, all we did was spit toothpaste in it.
Yeah, we literally used it to brush our teeth and fill a pot and then clean our dishes in the pot. Yeah. So it was just kind of a waste of space for our setup and our system.
How we do it. When you're on such limited water, you can't just keep like running a sink, so there's no point. And then in Vance, and the same as this, we don't have a grey water tank, so like we just cook with normal ingredients and then wash it up in the pot. And anyone that's lived on the road knows how bad, like the caliber of how clean you wash things up drops dramatically on the road because you're just conserving water. So less water. All we do is fill up whatever pot we cooked in, clean up all our dishes, and then we'd go to a bush or whatever and chuck it out.
We use like clean soap and stuff.
Yeah, sorry. It's all
very cautious of that.
Yeah, it's all environmentally friendly soap and all that. Plus, I mean, we barely use much anyway, and then everything we cook, we just make sure, like, I don't know, we don't really waste anything, so we're not really throwing anything out.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Just like some sauce.
Yeah, it's just
Or excess.
making sure there's no sauce on the bowls.
Yeah.
But anyway. So yeah, we figured with this setup, obviously it would save space in here because we didn't want to sink in here.
Personally, it's an absolute waste of space for us.
But this also means that because it'll sit inside there.
It's gonna live in there.
And then when we're set up, we pull it out and we're gonna have a little mount. This will be covered in wood. It'll have a handle and then a mount that it'll sit at throughout the day. And it's a perfect length to where we can like wash off our feet, wash off our hair, whatever.
It's actually, I'm stoked.
Yeah, so it's kind of a 2-in-1. It's like a sink and a shower.
And yeah, as I say, we're conserving water though, so it's only really if we have ample water that we'll be able to do it as like a shower sitch. But I mean, whenever we're going remote, we'll probably end up taking more like a backup, like 20 litre jerry can. But as a whole, I'm stoked with this. I mean, we haven't personally used it, but I thought it was a really cool idea. So
yeah, we haven't really used it yet, but
that way, when the kitchenette's out, this will just live behind it. If I need water for pasta, rice, or then we're washing up, just and we're ready to go. Happy days.
I just like every time I see it though, I'm just gonna think of a bidet. We have a working fan! Yay! One final task, putting the front tire on. Wow.